Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Wherever you are in the world, Spurs fans absolutely everywhere these days. We're swarming all over. We're swarming all over. So it is the day after the night before. And in true Tottenham Hotspur style, we managed to get a really good win. But in true Hotspur style, we're going a little bit overboard. Again, we're doing this thing where we get just a little bit excited. Listen, so good to see. So good to see so many of the youngsters getting a run out. Lovely to see them getting 45 minutes of football. Normally, we get to see Mikey Moore for 3 or 4 minutes, or Donnelly for 3 or 4 minutes, or Scarlett for 3 or 4 minutes. So very nice to see some of the youngsters get game time. But please, let's not set ourselves up for the fall that we always do. Let's get into it though. A game of would you say a game of two halves? Which is strange because we won the first half, right? But I mean, a game of two halves, where Tottenham put out a stronger team in the first half. You would expect that all the midfielders and the forwards were part of our first team squad, Porro as well, and then you had Gray and Skip as a kind of makeshift fullback, centre-back pairing, and then you had Jamie Donnelly as left backs. Obviously, we don't really tend to play fullbacks, and that was very evident in the first half with the number of times Hearts opened us up on the counter-attack. But very difficult. I was really looking forward to seeing Archie Gray play. I was really disappointed to see him play at centre-half. Not his fault. I just wanted to see, okay, why did we buy this guy that everyone's raving about? And then to see him at centre-back, it was very difficult because, again, in a game where you have all of the football, it's very difficult to judge footballers. And that's what I'll say. Before we go on about so-and-so is brilliant, magnificent, marvellous, when you have all the ball against much lesser opposition, it's very difficult to judge how well did they do. Spurs in the first half, a slow start to be expected. It's a pre-season friendly, right? I wouldn't expect them to come flying out the blocks and everybody's full of energy, etc., etc. But quite a slow start. Came out the blocks, a lot of possession, a lot of needless possession. As I've said before, when Tottenham play, a lot of needless possession across the back, very slowly. Possession across the back is fine if you're moving the ball quickly. A lot of needless possession, and we struggled to really make an impact in that first kind of 20, 25 minutes. We didn't really get at them. And what was slowly but surely happening was, I think Hearts realised, hang on, if we just hang in here, if we sit in here, we can counter-attack. And they did, didn't they? A number of times they counter-attacked, whether it was down the right, down the left. Same old story. Spurs don't play fullbacks. We play them really high up, and we're going to get countered in behind. A couple of times Skip and Gray caught badly out of position. Not their fault. They aren't centre-backs. It's not their fault. And let's be fair, Tagawa of Hearts should have had a hat-trick. He had 3 to 4 glorious chances in the first half. Glorious chances. But he didn't. And that's football. You've got to put your chances away. He didn't. And I think because of that, Spurs came back into play. We started to see Archie Gray ping some nice balls from the back, which was really nice to see. Hence why I wanted to see him moving further forward, see what his passing range was like. We started to see James Maddison get on the ball more and more and more. And James Maddison was the catalyst for the first goal. Absolutely superb for me from Maddison. That's what he does. Quick ball into Kulu, round the corner to Maddison, pulled back. Brennan Johnson can't miss from 2 yards. Absolutely fantastic goal from Kulusevski and Maddison. And Brennan Johnson, you know he's not my favourite player, but Brennan Johnson being in the right place at the right time. And from then on, Spurs actually started to have 2 to 3 chances, didn't we? Pedro Porro missed a glorious chance. Sonny threw on goal, missed a glorious chance as well. And I think what we started to see was a lot of our main play was coming from that central area. It was coming from Kulusevski and Maddison. It was coming from Son dropping into that area. But what you also started to see was the same we saw last season, where it started to get congested again, where everyone goes into this kind of 20-yard area outside the opposition penalty box. And it was almost people getting in each other's way. From the wide areas, I thought Solomon and Johnson, I thought were pretty poor. A lot of opportunities to whip balls in, hit the first man every time. Okay, won some corners, but again, it's just that care, that quality in that final pass from those players. But again, first pre-season game. I'm not one of those that looks at a pre-season game and thinks this judges the season or it doesn't. It's a pre-season game. It's about match fitness. It's about getting those minutes into your legs and getting a chance to see those youth players. Before we move on to the second half, I want to say Austin had an absolute magnificent save in the first half. Now, listen, we don't get to see Brandon Austin play a lot of football. The same with Whiteman. We don't get to see them a lot. They've been around the club for years. But I was so pleased for him because that was a really top save, point blank, great save. So credit where credit is due to Brandon Austin. Look, all I'll say on the first half, I feel sorry for Donnelly. I don't want to see, I'm sure most of you don't want to see Donnelly in that position. We want to see him higher up the pitch. But there'll be more minutes. There'll be more games for him to make his stance, to make his case for a first team place. But that was good. We went in 1-0 at half time. When I asked people in the comments for their description of the game, it was just kind of, same old Spurs, same as last year. I thought it was okay, right? It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But again, the overall worry for me, and this isn't about pre-season, this is about what I saw all last season, just how easily teams take us on the counter. It's becoming a real theme every single game of football now. Everyone knows how to get in behind Spurs. Anyway, we get to the second half. Wholesale changes. We knew there would be, right? Pre-season. Wholesale changes. The whole 1 to 11 was changed. And brilliant to see. Lovely to see Hall, Bergvall, Mikey Moore, Lancashire, Ashley Phillips. Right? It was lovely to see these people. Forgotten men. Jed Spence came in. Jed Spence, who we were told was going straight back out to Genoa. Nice to see him getting a few minutes as well. And then you see Werner and Emerson Royale. Let me talk about them before we get to the positive, right? We'll end on the positive, but let's get to them. I thought Werner, other than the pass across for the goal, if you count on your hand the number of times he gives it away, trying a 5 to 10 yard simple pass, he is shocking. I'm sorry. I know people are like, but he was on loan. Yes, he was on loan. And yes, he has stolen a squad place from a potential new transfer. That's why I didn't want him. A really poor cameo from me from Timo Werner. He should have, if he's got anything about him, he should have skinned his man every time, scored a couple assists. He looked poor. He looked lackadaisical. And again, it's that quality on the ball. The same that I said for Werner, for Solomon, for Johnson. These players are quick, but have they got that quality in their feet? I'm really unconvinced with Johnson and Solomon. I know that Werner doesn't. I know he doesn't. As I said, the one good ball across, which was a nice simple ball across the face of goal for the tap-in, sure. But there's more to football than that. There's more to his position than that. And he gave the ball away a lot. Let's get to the good. Lovely to see Ashley Phillips get some minutes. Absolutely superb to see Ashley Phillips get some minutes. We signed him this time last year. Didn't see him play at all for Tottenham. Good to see a centre-back come in. A young centre-back. Really hard to judge him because we didn't really have a lot defensively to do yesterday. In the second half, you could see that Hearts had made their changes. They had no threat on the pitch. They had no desire to keep the football. So really difficult to judge Phillips. But as I keep saying, there are more pre-season games where we can judge this. And the better caliber you play, the more we'll be able to determine how good these players are. But good to see Phillips in there. Jed Spence in a kind of marauding right midfield, right back, whatever he was playing, a nice marauding role. Jed Spence, a lovely ball through for Lancashire's goal, driving with the ball. I think this game was perfectly set up for players like Jed Spence because, again, Hearts sat in their own half and didn't have the ball, didn't have the quality to have the ball. So, again, there'll be tougher tests, but I thought Jed Spence with a brilliant cameo 45-minute appearance. But, again, let's be careful. I'm now seeing, as always, lots of people going, maybe Spence is brilliant. Maybe Spence under Ange's guidance. Maybe I feel making judgments after 45 minutes on a player is very, very crazy. And it's very difficult to do. And we've got to stop doing this up and down after 45-minute cameos, right? Good to see him play. My feeling is that he'll probably still leave the club. I don't see a place for him, but we'll see. Does he play as an option to Porro at right back, a rotated option for cup games, for Europa? I don't know. But for me, I can't say after 45 minutes that a player has definitely deserved the right to stay or not. Then we look at, and I'm going to group all these players together, otherwise we'll be here all day long. You look at Mikey Moore, you look at Lancashire, you look at Bergval, you look at Hall. Some wonderful 45-minute cameos there. Really good, really positive, getting on the ball, wanting the ball, which I think sometimes our senior players are lacking. Getting on the ball, wanting to make quick passes, trying to shoot, trying to get the ball into the box. Bergval trying to dictate play from deep and then going and joining in. Some wonderful passes from Bergval, wonderful cross for the goal. Listen, I think it was very good to see our youngsters play. Right, I think it was really good to see our youngsters play. I'll put some caution on it, of course, because what I'm not, you all know by now, what I'm not is someone that's going to go, oh my God, they are geniuses. They are generational. Because by doing that, the pressure we heap on them is amazing. The pressure you heap, and not amazing in a good way. You put the pressure on these young players' shoulders. They read this, they see this, and immediately it's like, oh my God, this is what's thought of me. So for me, lovely 45-minute cameo. There will be tougher opponents. There will be tougher games. There will be bigger pre-season games. Games where we don't have all the ball. And we'll start to ask, right, okay, Bergval, what do you do going back that way? Okay, Bergval, how do you get stuck in the tackle? Okay, Mikey Moore, what do you do when you're not getting a lot of the football? Okay, Lancashire, when you're not having people creating chances for you, what do you do? Now, that's not me knocking them. That's saying there's going to be bigger, tougher tests to come for them rather than a Hearts team that just got beaten by Leyton Orient. So really good to see. Great positive signs. But slowly catching monkey. Slowly. Let these players build. Let them grow. Let's not announce them as world superstars off 45-minute cameos. Now, when somebody like me says this, what I'll get called is negative. I know I will. Caution, because common sense tells you hardly any of these will be in the matchday squad for game one. Common sense tells you once the season starts and the 25 squad is announced, hardly any of these are going to get game time. So it's all well and good people raving about them. People yesterday, Bergval is Pirlo-esque. I mean, relax, stop. It's silly. Whether people are trolling or not, it's silly. Let the boy make his mark. Let the boy have a year in the Premier League to learn, to grow, to build. The same with all of the other youngsters. Mikey Moore, generational. Stop. I keep seeing this one account on X, what people send me, called Invert the Wing, where he writes about these young players. Like, he's like, guys, I know you don't want to hear this, but Mikey Moore is generational. He's one of the best in the world. And he likened to this. And I sit there and I think, what are we doing? Relax. Don't put the pressure on the kids. Let them forge their own path. The top kids will make it. The ones at that next level below won't. It's that simple. You can't have a matchday squad where all of these kids are going to be knocking around the first team. You are not going to have a matchday squad where you've got Gray and Bergval and Lancashire and Donnelly and Hall and Phillips and Mikey Moore. You can't. There isn't enough squad space. So let them grow. Let them learn. Yeah. Let them take these good performances into the next game, where the next games are going to be tougher and tougher and tougher. And then we've got Bayern Munich twice. So let's relax, okay? Let's relax. Let's not do what we normally do. Start telling the world that we've got the best group of youngsters in world football. We've got no proof of that. It's a 45-minute cameo. Lovely to see them play. Really good. I want to see some youth play. But please, can we keep our feet on the ground? I've worked in youth football before, and I've seen what the hype and the pressure can do to some of these young players, where they have it on their shoulders, where you've got people calling them generational. Now, football fans use that as a sweeping term, but do people realise what that means? The baggage that comes with being called generational, right? For example, people can call Lamine Yamal generational. The boy is smashing it up at Barcelona and for Spain, as he just won Young Player of the Tournament and won the Euros, right? He's doing it. He's living it. Say it about him. Let's not do it about kids that have never played 90 minutes in a first team for their club. That's not Tottenham. That's all football fans. We all do it, don't we? All fans go, there's a kid in our youth team. He is the best thing since Gaza. He's the next Messi. He's the next Pirlo. Relax. Let them grow. Some of these have to go out on loan. I would assume Lancashire will go out on loan. I would assume that maybe Phillips might go back out on loan. Right, Donnelly, I would assume, will go on loan. That's great. Get them first team football. Get them at clubs where they can play and nurture. And let's find out which ones will make it and which ones won't. So again, without being negative, somebody has to bring a little bit of calm to the craziness I'm seeing on social media. Absolutely craziness. Good performance from our young kids. Tougher tests to come. Emerson, got to go. Sorry, mate. You've got to go. Dreadful. The fact that Spurs are holding out for 20 million, get 15, 12, 12 and a half, whatever, get him out of the club. This guy is so poor. A terrible footballer. Werner, you all know my feelings on that. Waste of a squad player. Absolutely waste of a squad player. And before you all call all these young players generational, just remember our manager would rather have Timo Werner than give one of them that slot in the squad. Just remember that. So listen, really good start to pre-season. Some lovely cameos. When you're looking at first team players like Basuma, Johnson, Kulu, Solomon, got to see more. Got to see more from them. First game. Let's see what happens, because now we're going to start getting back the Mickey van der Vens, the Dragosins, the Romeros. Who else is coming back? Udogie will come back from fitness. Bentancur. Again, this is another reason why we can't have every single kid that everyone thinks is going to come through at once, because the senior pros are going to come back. So listen, if used properly, we've got some great youth. If Ange wants to use some of them this season, we've got some great youth. We saw last year his reluctance to. Will he change that stance this year? Who knows? I hope so. The last thing I'll say, it's now 29 days until the season starts. Please, Spurs, please, can we get going? Can we do something of note? I saw Ange say that we were on track and that the players are coming back knowing that we're progressing from last year. Sure, say these things, but we need to see that progression. So come on, Spurs, get your head out your backsides. Let's get moving. Yeah? If West Ham are able to go and put bids on the table for people like Jean-Claire Todibo, then surely we can be doing some good moves like that. A guy that we struggled to get over the line last year, by the way. So, good first pre-season game. Some lovely goals scored. Really good confidence booster for a lot of the young players. Onwards and upwards to the next. But overall, please calm down. Please, and I know this will fall on deaf ears, please stop putting pressure on these kids to make them out to be the next Gaza, Pirlo, Busquets. This, please, we've got to stop doing it to them. It kills them. It kills their career. Take care, everyone. See you soon. And don't forget the 24-hour charity stream Saturday, 10 a.m. through to Sunday, 10 a.m. We've already raised just under £400. We're trying to get to the 5K mark. I'll put the link in the chat. Please, even if it's £1, please donate. Take care, everyone. Onwards to QPR, which we'll be doing a watch-along for during Saturday's charity stream. Take care. See you soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.